So what is a post type? Okay, so we use them all the time. But yet, do you really know what a post type is? Well, if you come here on WordPress.org, go into Codex and look up post types, they're going to go through and they're going to explain it. It still may confuse you. So let me just break it down for you. There are different types of posts, okay? And I'll show that to you here in a minute, that are stored in the database. And then those posts, those records of content, records refers to an entry in a database. Again, I'll show you that here in a minute. Stay with me. A post type then is a way of classifying that. It's a way of being able to say, okay, I've got all this different content. I need to break out some sort of classification to be able to say, okay, I'm going to group this content. Now, this is different than terms and taxonomies. This is specifically talking about the different types of content that you have available to you. Okay, so if we were to go here in the back end, let's just take a look. We've got posts, we've got media, we've got pages here, right? These are different types of posts. Okay, so if I were to come over here and I would look, well, what's built into WordPress? So out of the box, this is what WordPress is going to give you for post types. You don't have to do anything. It comes with this. You just spin up a website and bam, you have all of these. You have a post, a page, an attachment. Okay. Attachment are those files that you upload. Things like, oh gosh, I don't know, media. Right? So that's going to be some sort of images. Maybe it's a PDF. Maybe it's some sort of WAV file. Different types of media. These are attachments. Okay. Then we go in and we say, all right, well, we have revisions too. So you ever notice when you're writing content that there's this autosave feature and then there's a revision. And you can actually look at the different revisions if you have that turned on, of course, which out of the box it is. Okay, so those are stored in the database as a revision post type. Then there's the navigation menu. These are menu items. All right, so when you look at this then, you can say, all right, these are my different types of posts. Now, in your mind, you might be thinking, well, a menu is not a post. Some sort of media is not a post or a page. Revision, well, yeah, okay, I can see that one. But you can see where it might be confusing you. All right, so in WordPress, they talk about everything's a post and everything is a post type. Well, what does that mean? Let me show you. All right, so here I have SQL Pro loaded up and I'm taking a look in the database. Here is WP Post. Whenever you create a new post or page or put something in the media library or do a menu item, it's going to get stored in this database table. Notice the name WP underscore, and you might be changing that prefix, which is a good idea. Post. Okay, so this is the post database table. And in here, each one of these are records. Records. That is a technical term for a database table, or entries if you want to call them that. All right. And you'll notice that we have an ID. Well, this is the post ID. That's how we go and we get information. I'll show that here to you in a moment also. So then when we look at this, we have a post title, we have the content, we have excerpts. If you put that in, yeah, let's just go ahead and scroll over and you can see here's the status, right? Is it published? Is it in draft? What is it? Post name. Okay, so that's going to be that slug so that we can get that pretty permalinks. Then we have some modification dates. Does it have a parent? Right? There's lots of different information in here, but as you scroll over, right there, This is what's called a column in the database. Okay, a column. And within this column, it represents the post type for each one of these records. And what do you see? I see page. I see revision. I see post. Oh, hey, look at that. There's a menu item. There's another revision. So you can see how it's saying, okay, I'm going to look at this. That one's a page. And then you can go and you can see, all right, well, let's see what that one is. Demo. Okay, I can see that one now. Right? I've got labs and there's that ID for that post. All right, so spend a little bit of time in here. Go through, take a look. Don't be afraid. You can poke around in here if you want. If you change it, see what happens. Okay? So let's go and just see. We're going to compare this. I want to make sure that you're being able to correlate this information together. So if we go into the back end here, and let's just open up a page. Now I go and I say my about page. Okay. And I'm going to change my permalinks. I was just playing with permalinks before, and I'm just going to say it's going to be by that. Okay. Let me go back. All right. So let's open up pages here, and we're just going to look at one particular page. So here's the about page. Okay. And if I open this up, that's what it looks like. Okay. Well, what we see is what? What do you see? Well, right here. This is the ID, post ID 696. Okay, so 696 is my post ID, which relates to that ID column in the database. Well, let me show you. Okay, so if I scroll over, there's the ID. And if I search for what I say, 696. So let's just pull this up. And you can see right here, this is the date. It's the about page. That's the title, right? I have an image in there for the content. Matter of fact, let's just open this up. Here's all the content. All right, how's that relate? Let me come down. See, here's the content, atmosphere. You can see it. And let me get out of that. And I'm just going to keep scrolling over. Yes, it's published. Status published. See it right there? You can just keep scrolling. Here's our post name. I'm going to clear this off so maybe you can see this better. And if I bring this down, I want to show you right here, permalink about relates to that right there. Do you see that? So as you walk through this database, you can go and say, okay, this is how these things relate to one another. All right. So what makes it a page is one, well, you came in here and you said, I want to create a new page, but also that we said over here that it's a page. See the post type right there? It's a page. Okay, well, what happens if I change that to a post? Okay, so I go then do that right now, and I go back to pages. It's gone. Let me go to posts. It's right there. You see it? Let me open it up. There it is there. We just moved it, but it retains the same ID. Okay, so what that is doing is it's classifying the content. If you think about WordPress as buckets of content, let me just do this for you. Make sure that you get it. Okay, so if you think about WordPress, what are you doing? You're managing content. It's a CMS, content management system. Okay, so content, that's the important part. In WordPress, we call everything a post. Well, it's really content. Everything gets stored in WP post, and how you differentiate your different buckets. Yeah, that's a bad bucket, isn't it? Okay, so we would say that's a post. Here's a page, right? These are the post types. Think in buckets of content or different classifications of content. Classification. Good spelling there, Tanya. Jeez. Okay, and then we had attachment and so on. So you can see how with these different post types, right? Again, that's a column in the database. It's saying, okay, well, all of this content is in this database table. It's all content, but this one I want to be a post, this one I want to be a page, this one I want to be an attachment, and so on. Right? So why do you do that? Why? Well, there's different features, aren't there? Right? Media is going to behave differently than a post behaves. A page has some different features to it than a post does, although we're going to go in and start playing with some of those features. Okay, so we can see those. Revisions, well, revisions are just storing away a past revision and what we've done here. But a menu item is different. We can visualize that each of these pieces of content are different from one another. And then we may have some custom one, like maybe there's a portfolio. Maybe there's an FAQ. Maybe there's team bios. As a matter of fact, this is what we're going to build when we get into the next lab for custom post types. Right? So these are all different types of content, and we call them post type. And the post is just content. Right? So if that's confusing you, I want you to go back and watch this again. Matter of fact, on your machine, I want you to open up your database. I'm using SQL Pro. I'm on a Mac. If you don't have that, well, then open up phpMyAdmin. But get in here and look at the database, because once you do that, then it starts turning on all these light bulbs to go, oh, okay, I got that. I know where this is now. You can start to visualize in your mind what you're seeing when you're working in WordPress core and in your plugins and themes, and how that relates to how the data actually lives and breathes in the database. This is where it's stored in the database.